Hello guys and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me Vulcan. Today I have for you game 2 in a best of 3 between AmberT and Gonzo, and this is the lower bracket final of Chickendew's European tournament. So in the first game we saw Gonzo kind of steamroll AmberT with his 116th Panzer. We'll have to see if this time AmberT can do better with the 15th Infantry Scots than he did with the 4th Armoured, because that was pretty rough the first game, and I'm sure in this one AmberT will be wanting to prove his worth as well as try and find his way back to the final to face off against Eugen once again. So Gonzo is going to be taking out the 2nd Panzer, and today we're going to be seeing Mont Ormel. It's a very interesting map with a lot of dodgy sightlines due to the different elevations, and we'll have to see how both players decide to play around that. I think in general the red side has a better defensive position due to this hill, but it's still pretty difficult for both sides to make ground. Let's have a look at some of the units that are going down. So on the top side, Gonzo is going to be bringing out an infantry squad here, the Panzergrenz and an AT gun. In the mid, we see some Sturm Pioneers with some command infantry, and on the bottom it's going to be a Panzer IV start with a recon squad, speed troop, and those Panzergrenz. So starting with the Panzer IV is pretty bold from Gonzo, but we've seen this before from the 2nd Panzer. It's actually a very good choice against the 15th Infantry Scots, because the Panzer IV at say 600 and 800 meter ranges can easily penetrate things like the AVREs and the Churchill 7s that are the heaviest armor pieces that the 15th Infantry Scots can put out. Everything else the Panzer IV easily deals with. So I think that's why Gonzo's bringing it in early on in case of an AVRE, but otherwise he can kill all those Churchills very, very easily with that tank. Like Churchill 5s, if he gets into 1000 meter range, again, boom, he can get the kills because the AP power is 14 on those tanks. Let's have a look at what's going down on the side of AmberT. So we got infantry squads for the top side. We've got a command here and an AT gun. For the sort of mid-top side, we've got another rifle squad, another AT gun, another command. Those command carriers can come in very handy as well. For the middle, we've got 4 units of rifles and a Honey Stuart with the command carrier and command infantry. And on the bottom side, it's a couple units of rifles and an AT gun. And that's pretty much it. So quite a lot of rifles placed down at the start for AmberT. It's to be expected. 15th Infantry Scots does have a ton of infantry availability, and it's silly not to make use of it. So good to see that coming down. Plenty of AT guns as well. Looks like Gonzo's going to have to be pretty careful about what he does with his Panzer IV, because on the top side, completely covered. On the very bottom side, it's covered. The only place that Panzer IV is going to find a kill at the moment is onto this Honey. And it seems that like AmberT has unwittingly played around the Panzer IV, hasn't really given it many targets. So the Panzer IV is going to be going down to the bottom side of this orchard area. We're going to be seeing the rest of these vehicles sort of head towards these buildings and also into these trees. Wow, AmberT definitely going very far up with his rifles here. Right up to the 50-50 before unloading. That could be very risky. He's come right into line of sight of multiple half-tracks. Now, the Honey here, if it does get the kills onto these half-tracks, we'll find a lot of kills. But so far, the Bren group have taken a lot of damage. Panzergrenführer, though, saving the day with its smoke grenades. Sturm Pioneer have managed to find their way into cover. Panzergrenz have been reloaded into the 251, and they're going to be moved to this building, but there is a 6-pounder here, but it's not in the tree line there yet. That is a pretty big mistake actually from AmberT, because this is an opportunity whereby you could actually be finding a kill onto the half-track there, but it seems like it doesn't matter. The Honey is going to get the kill anyway. Can the Panzer IV kill the Honey in response? Weapons were jammed. Second shot needs to land. Honey's going to hide. Okay, so that was kind of devastating for Gonzo early on because he lost a Panzergren squad inside its half-track, which is really, really bad news. But here we can see that 251 is going very aggressive. It's running down all of these infantry squads. The Stern Pioneers are cutting through these Bren group like a knife through butter. And 251 here is very close to like running through these rifles as well, but rifle leader's going to take out one half-track with a Piat. Guys, did I just see that properly? Did a Piat hit something? Either way, Stern Pioneer is going to be moving forwards. They're going to be taking on those rifles. This rifle leader might also take out this 251 if Gonzo isn't too careful. It does. 2 Piat, 2 kills. That's not something you say very often. And the 6-pounder finds a kill onto the Panzer IV. Boom! That's what AmberT needs to get into this game. Very, very nice job indeed. Okay, now I want to see some aggression out of AmberT. He can take advantage of that. He can make some ground, and I want to see it happen. So the rifles there, they're still dealing with the Stern Pioneer at close range, but the Stern Pioneers have depleted their Flammenwerfer. Panzerschreck unloads, kills off the Honey. That's fine. It was kind of out of commission anyway. New Honey's on the way. That can hopefully help clean things up here. But these Bren group are now making ground on the bottom side quite nicely. So this should push a +1 in favour of AmberT eventually. Honey does manage to help kill off the 250-10 there. And might also kill off this 250-10. That's got track wheel destroyed. Great job. So AmberT just needs infantry availability. Then he has a good chance of taking the mid entirely. But Gonzo's on the case. He's got his new Stern Pioneers arriving. He's got more Panzergrens arriving. He's going to cover the bottom side with those. But with that kill onto the Panzer IV, AmberT's got to realise that he has killed off a lot of forces. Like, he's killed off the Panzergrens in the half-track. He killed off the, like, some other Panzergrens. He's killed off all of the half-tracks that come with those. Like, if he doesn't make a push off this, he's really just giving the game back to Gonzo. Because Gonzo's going to recover, and we've seen how relentlessly aggressive he can be. So 6-pounder down here, 2-star 6-pounder is going to be smacking that very, very hard. That half-track there, going to be forcing the Stern Pioneers to fall back because of it. Those Stern Pioneers wanted to make some ground, but were denied doing so. Honey looks like it got hit by the Panzerschreck, took a transmission damage, but did not die. So AmberT's okay for now. This Honey, please move it down the bottom side where you killed that Panzer IV. That's like literally inviting you to move your stuff forwards. A Panzer IV kill in phase A. Right, either way, what we're going to see out of Gonzo, he's got more speed through on the way. He's got Panzergrens going to the very bottom side. He's got more Stern Pioneer coming to the mid. And he's also got a Borgward. We're going to see a Borgward in play, guys. That's going to be pretty cool. Especially if it lands right in the middle of all of these rifles. That could work out very well indeed. But yeah, he's got to stop focusing on this area. He's got to focus on the area in the open. With the Panzer IV gone, Gonzo doesn't have much to deal with stuff in the open. If he had unloaded his recon here, he probably could see this Pack 40 on the top side, but AmberT cannot because of that. That's a bit of a mistake there from AmberT. Again, recon letting him down. It's not the first time we've seen that.
We're listening to you.
But rifles now making some ground. If they can take out the Panzergren Führer, that will leave open a lot of troops in the mid here to surrender. Like, why this Honey is not probing more, I will never know. Maybe he's waiting for the rifles to breach the tree line. Okay, finally he's moving it up more aggressively. That's good. Okay. Right, let's see, shall we? Gonzo still being, like I said, relentlessly aggressive. Maybe that's off-putting for AmberT. But here he's got a good opportunity to make some ground. These Panzergrens do not have a Panzerfaust, and that's something that can definitely be exploited. Oh, Borgward's getting very close here. Boom. Okay, he took down a rifle squad. He did manage to pin another rifle squad here, but great job by AmberT avoiding that. Just sort of emergency spread all of his units. This Honey is going to take out a half-track on the hill and manages to also pin down and get the Panzergren surrendered here. So these Honeys definitely working out quite well. Just got to keep the pressure up. He's getting so many half-track kills. He must realise that Gonzo barely has anything left. Like this speed troop unloading, honey, go kill it. Like this half-track out in the open, honey, go kill it. So Stern Pioneer eventually killed off there. Looks like the honey helped finish things off. Panzerschreck's still alive though, and if that gets a shot into the honey, AmberT is probably going to be so triggered by that. That would just be absolutely devastating. But Gonzo's done a fantastic job of keeping that alive. This honey though, still going absolutely crazy. And now we have a large push coming in on the bot side from AmberT. The aggression is finally here. Panzerschreck, can it find the kill? Oh, he didn't get it off in time. The Panzerschreck was not fired. The amount of rifles here overwhelmed Gonzo. Stern Pioneers have also been found, taking down to 3 health immediately. That's going to make things difficult for the Stern Pioneers to kill off these rifles efficiently. And now there's a salient forming. AmberT really wants to take advantage of this. MMG carrier going to be able to take care of these Panzergrens. Again, no Panzerfaust, so no threat from this infantry against these command carriers and MMG carriers. You can make really good use of them. And this is like one of the weaknesses that the 2nd Panzer has. It's a lot like the 4th Armoured in a sense that if you lose your vital units like these Panzer IVs, then you put yourself in such a hard position. Now this Panzer IV could come as a surprise to AmberT very shortly. That's going to come over the top of the hill here and probably kill off a couple of these honeys, but it's really up to this 6-pounder to find the kill. It is in range now of the edge of this hill, so this Panzer IV could just as easily go down as these honeys could. Rifles still trying to make ground. Stern Pioneers just playing defensively here. 54% territory in favour of AmberT. Honeys are everywhere. There are 5 honeys on this map right now. Honey Stuarts. At close range, the honeys could kill these Panzer IVs. Oh, that shot missing was not good. This Panzer IV, 1-shot bailout. Okay, this honey just needs to like charge that down and get up close and personal. It really does. 6-pounder. Almost had a chance there to kill the Panzer IV, but I think maybe Gonzo went round the corner, peeked a little bit, spotted all the units coming towards him and decided to back off. But in doing so, is relinquishing a +2 lead to AmberT. So, often we see Gonzo on the front foot in the early phases, but this time around, AmberT has now taken full advantage of his position and is making ground. Can Gonzo come back? Can Gonzo show us how you come back from this position? That's what I'm interested to see. Ju-88S has been saved up for. This is the 200-point bomber. It actually failed to kill the 6-pounder. It's also going to get shot down by the Spitfire. That is a huge loss for Gonzo. 200 points, didn't even kill anything, gets shot down. That is like the worst case scenario for that bomber. MMG carrier still demolishing these Panzergrens. These units are getting up close and personal with Gonzo. There's no Piat here though, which is kind of a bad thing. I'd like to see like a command squad or something come down to this bottom side, not only to give veterancy to the honey so that he can engage at close range, but also so that he has AT, because at the moment he doesn't really have too much. He's got a 6-pounder covering his back, but other than that, there's not too much going on here. If this honey dies, this Panzer IV gains full control of this area again, with the help of these half-tracks and infantry. But they're coming in hot. Look how aggressive these are. Especially considering Gonzo knows how many honeys are on the map here from AmberT. I'm pretty sure he could see them all. Oh, the Panzer IV at close range. Oh, the honey. It looks like the Panzer IV is going to get the shot off before the honey. Wow, both of those tanks got 2 shots off at each other at close range, and Gonzo comes out on top with his Panzer IV. I can't help but think like a little bit of luck has helped Gonzo today. And now, like I said before, with that honey dying, that does push things back in his favour. We've now got Sturmgrenadiers coming in. These chaps are going to be engaging with the rifles. and they're going to be able to absolutely obliterate them at close quarters combat. They've got 15 HE. Look how quickly they go down. Same here. Sturm Grenadiers going to be bumping into those rifle leader, killing them off. And slowly but surely, Gonzo is making back ground here, but he's got to be careful of these 3 honeys. I'm surprised that, honestly, AmberT spread out so much. He needs to keep these concentrated, otherwise there's a very good chance that Gonzo's going to slowly pick them off. But the +3 is a good start for AmberT. He's up to 600 points almost. Just needs to secure his position with things like AT guns and infantry. Like, he could get infantry into these buildings, and that would be hard to dislodge. He could also get his honeys into decent positions. At the moment, this one's not really in a good position at all. It looks like Ramch is just going to go for the engagement there. It's going to aim quicker because it's Panzer IV H. Well, they fired at just about the same time, but the honey failed to find the penetration. Panzer IV is going to pin it down, and that's 1 honey dead. So 2 more to go, and then that's going to be no more honeys left on the map. Bringing in all of these units should have happened a lot sooner. It looks like he was sitting on quite a lot of points here. Either way, Gonzo has moved into Phase B. And the thing about Phase B with the 2nd Panzer is it's probably the best division for coming back in said phase, because it's got 150 income per minute. So AmberT has done the perfect job of putting on early aggression and finding the ground that he needs to stop Gonzo from overwhelming him in Phase B and securing a victory. But what AmberT has failed to do in his push is secure his position. Like, he has honeys here, but he spread them all out. I would have loved to have seen 5 honeys on this bottom side of the map just completely overwhelm this Panzer IV. Because then imagine this entire section here would still be under control of AmberT. And that would be like the way to do it. We do see a 17 pounder coming in, so there is at least an AT gun here, but it's not in the prime position. Ideally he would want it on this hill, right? Because then if you put it, say, here, you can cover both the right side, this road, and the bottom side. But that's not the case. Assault Pioneers are pretty good for dealing with these Sturm Grenadiers at 100 meter range, but we can see their Ramch has come up the hill. Is going to be engaging one of the honeys, takes it out with 1 shot, gets an internal fragment onto the second one. Second honey is now dealt with. There is an air engagement going on up here, 2 Spitfires versus a Focke-Wulf 190. On this bottom side, mortar has come in. That's now going to start dealing with the 17 pounder. And well, with that infantry and so on being dealt with down here, the territory's just completely fallen away from AmberT, and this Sturm Grenadier has taken up position. Yeah, what I think is the difference here between Gonzo's pushes and AmberT's push in this case is that Gonzo makes the push and he sort of distracts his opponent with all these like units all over the place. But whilst he's doing that, he always like sneakily moves up all of these other units like rifles and AT guns and like secures those positions. We saw it in the first game. But in this game, it was not the case for AmberT. And these Sturm Grenadiers now running all over those Assault Pioneers. They weren't even allowed to get close to these ones, as these Sturm Grenadiers opened up on them at 300 meter range. Or 200 meter range, sorry. These Sturm Grenadiers also making quite a lot of ground, but are bumping into 2 units of rifles, so they will get themselves pinned, and honestly, very close to surrendered. There's no command here. AmberT's got to try and realise that and get that surrender, but doesn't manage to. This recon squad though, not the first time AmberT's had a recon squad behind enemy lines, and hopefully it will help him out in this game secure this one, but things are really falling away from him on this bottom side. 51% territory lead now in favour of Gonzo. He's brought it back, he hasn't let this hang around for too long. Rifles here are not going to be surrendered since there's a new rifle leader on the block, and we have the command carrier here also engaging these 251s. They could get surrendered. Gonzo's got to be careful with that. Right, Panzergrens and Pack 40 have been trying to make some ground on this top side, but in the face of all of this infantry that's running towards him, it's not really working out too well. Churchill 5 is going to be trying to engage the Panzer IV here, but that Panzer IV might be able to find a kill. He's using the elevation there on the side of the hill to shoot over these trees and the houses in order to get a hit there, which was quite nice. Sturm Grenadiers really coming in hot onto these rifles and the 17 pounder. That 17 pounder is just gone. That is dead. Panzer IV might kill off the Churchill 5 as well. I mean, Gonzo's really making good use of this 150 points per minute, I can tell you that much. Really, really doing well. Now, often what I found with the 2nd Panzer is if you don't do too well in Phase A, in Phase B, you're spending all your points on compensating for the ground you lost early on, and therefore you just won't win the game regardless. But in this case, it seems as though Gonzo has managed to get his units into positions that have really worked out for him so far. His Sturm Grenadiers have pretty much dominated the centre of the map now, taken back a lot of ground. And this bottom side, the Panzer IV has quite literally turned this around on its own. 17 pounders are just being run down by this infantry as well, and AmberT can't afford to let this happen. So he's brought in all of the stuff he needed now, like those 17 pounders, but it's just that little bit too late. Obviously he might have not have been able to afford it earlier on, but still, you can't lose 17 pounders like that to infantry, because it's quite simply just going to continue to snowball. And I can't believe it, but Gonzo is somehow managing to snowball once again. Pack 40 here, going to be used to possibly take out the 6 pounder. Panzer Grenadiers are in a good position here. They managed to get into cover. Panzer IV and Flak 36s have actually been brought in offensively. Flak 36s are killing off infantry. They kill off the command infantry on that top side. These Spitfires are not being allowed to fly around anymore either. Sturm Grenadier took out both the motorized rifle leader and these rifles. 57% territory lead for Gonzo. Half tracks have just pushed through so aggressively there. Panzer IV is still alive. Half track now coming in onto the bottom side with some Sturm Grenadiers. And, well, what a fantastic job Gonzo's done in this phase to bring things back in his favour. +1, wins in 20 minutes. There is still a chance for AmberT to come back, but he's got to find a way to kill off these half-tracks and get some infantry back to the middle of this map. Like some AT infantry right now would be perfect, just for cleaning up these 2 half-tracks. And that's pretty much all he needs. Challenger has been brought in by AmberT. That's going to be going up against this Panzer IV on the top side. It looks like Ramsch was taken out on the side of this hill. There is a 6 pounder and a 17 pounder, so one of those is probably the culprit. Flak 36s will be able to engage the 6 pounders at the 1000 meter range. This half track's pushing through hard though. I'm not sure it's going to be able to for long with the 17 pounder engaging it. But yeah, just these 2 half tracks. +3 now for Gonzo. Going to win the game in 12 minutes. That's pretty crazy. Gepard here, pushing through pretty hard. Going to be engaging the 17 pounder. Or with the Challenger missing there, was able to pin down the 17 pounder, and now there's the 251-2 mortar carrier. Drop in mortar rounds on that as well. We do see that the Flak 20mm here got absolutely annihilated by the Challenger, and for some reason this Gepard managed to get away. Managed to like break the line of sight briefly. But with the AT guns pinned down, looks like Gonzo's going to go quite aggressive with his Befehl Panzer IVs. His half-track still making ground. The other one, the Wolverine took out. So now these rifles going to be unloaded and hopefully find and kill off these Sturm Grenadiers. It was interesting for once because Gonzo is being aggressive with some units, but I think most of the units in this case he's actually being relatively conservative with on this bottom side. He's keeping his Panzer IV back, for example, and I like that play a lot. Gepard here does get taken out. 251 half-track on the top side. It's still going. Still a target for the 17 pounder, but that's eventually going to get the kill there. Flak 36 does find the kill onto the 6 pounder. Aufklärer Panzer IV-J is now on its way to support. Double Spitfire going to be trying to pin down the Panzer IV, and that's so that the Wolverine can engage that. Shouldn't need to use the Spitfires really for that, but it's fine. Wolverine will be able to engage at 1200 meters anyway. Half track here, still behind enemy lines. Not providing any territory anymore though, so things back to a +2 for Gonzo. Will win in 16 minutes and 20 seconds. Flak 36 was killed on the top side. Gonzo losing both of those AA pieces is a bit careless if I'm honest. But he does still have the mortar shots onto the 17 pounder, and without that 17 pounder available, these Panzer IVs can overrun the Challenger. So here the Alcala Panzer IV-J, that's falling back in a pretty dodgy position, but this Panzer IV-H should be able to do the job. Especially with that Challenger missing. Track swirls damage, both of them are pinned down, mortar carriers doing the job as well there. And with that Challenger gone, and the 17 pounder killed off by the mortar, well, Panzer IV should be able to kill off the Churchill 5 quite nicely. Now this Panzer IV has been pushed back by the Wolverine, but smoke is coming down now from this mortar to keep that safe. Challenger has been killed by the Panzer IV, so now he's just got to find line of sight onto the Churchill 5 and take care of that. And that's the great thing about Panzer IVs in this matchup, is they are pretty much all you need to take care of the Scottish armour. So now the last thing that needs to be taken out is indeed the 17 pounder, but that 17 pounder is still alive. Can the 1 health AT gun do what 1 health AT guns always do, and that's kill off important units? No, not this time. Missed the shot onto the Aufkläder for Panzer J, gets itself killed by the Befehl Panzer IV-H. Sturmgrenadiers eventually taken down in the mid after these rifles finally make it forwards, but with sort of Gonzo neglecting the mid, he's now pushing hard on the top side. And I like this sort of change of tack from Gonzo. He realised he didn't have the units to push aggressively across the open, so he decided not to, and instead used the line of sight here to get his Panzer IVs close and exploit the use of his mortars. And that has definitely paid off. Sturmgrenadiers now taking up positions. New Challenger has arrived. Can a Panzer IV find a kill? That'll be the question. 251 is coming in to help the Sturmgrenadier. And, well, with the MG on target there, those rifles are going to get surrendered. There's no command. That's a mistake from AmberT for sure. Not having command with those rifles in a close range engagement is always killer. Speed Troop and the Sturmgrenadier is going to be able to engage these rifles here without the Wolverine getting involved. The old Sturmgrenadiers. Look at them there. Awesome units. Using their STG-44. Alright, it's time for this Panzer IV to shine as it approaches to engage the Challenger. It's not going to under fire from 2 Spitfires though. Mobilwagen has been brought in from Gonzo to cover the skies alongside a Focke-Wulf 190. Both of those are going to be falling back. Now this Focke-Wulf going to be engaging the 17 pounder. So it's interesting because Gonzo's still managing to make quite a lot of ground here, even though there's barely any recon. There's like 1 recon squad on the bottom side, assisted by the Sturmgrenadiers, have almost killed off these rifles, which is nice. But on this top side, there's no recon. But he can still see this 17 pounder. I think it's just because 17 pounders are such large units, and also these Sturmgrenadiers are in line of sight of that. Having that pinned down, looks like the Befehl Panzer IV is just going to go very aggressive. And without any Piat there, it looks like that Panzer IV will be successful. So, Gonzo's brought this back to a +2. Moving into line of sight of this 17 pounder and Challenger though, that's a mistake. Oh lordy. 17 pounder smashes that Befehl Panzer IV. It's dead. This Panzer IV tries to sneak around the corner. It's going to be engaging the Challenger maybe. Doesn't manage to get the shot off in time though. The trouble is with the Panzer IV-J, it still has a hand cranked turret, so it takes a lot longer to aim than a Befehl Panzer IV. Like the Panzer IV-H anyway. So Panzer H and the Panzer IV-J are like 2 different models. The Panzer IV-J has a slower aim time. Just something that's worth knowing. Sturmgrenadiers are still engaging here, but probably not a good idea with the Challenger's machine gun on target. Mortar is still trying to get the shots onto this 17 pounder, I would believe, but these Sturmgrenadiers making loads of ground even without the Panzer IV support now. Panther A is on the field. Gonzo can't be under that much pressure because you have to basically wait 4 minutes to buy a Panther at this phase. Actually, no, 3 minutes, sorry. Still a long time. 280 points, you get 110 points per minute. This is where I think AmberT has a chance to sort of push things back. If he starts bringing in the Churchill 7s and the AVREs now, that could be his chance to make a lot of ground. But he's got to find out a way to deal with this Panther A. So that could be a side shot from one of these Wolverines, honestly. But he's got to find a way to like pin down that Panther first, otherwise it's just going to like one pop his Wolverines. Now this recon can see it coming, so I'd expect AmberT to sort of react to that. Actually, never mind, it can't. It's just out of line of sight of the recon. That's going to actually catch him out. Panther there, somehow managing to sneak into line of sight of the Wolverine. That's going to be a dead Wolverine soon enough. The track wheel damage makes it very slow, gives the Panther A plenty of kills, or plenty of shots to try and get a kill, and certainly does find the kill. Wolverine down. Okay, that is unfortunate for AmberT's recon here. The fact he didn't see that Panther coming is just, well, it was so deadly, as you can see. Right, Panzer IV almost kills off the Stuart Remy. Sturm Grenadiers are falling back. These Sturm Grenadiers are sort of entrenched in these buildings now, which is going to be hard for these rifles to deal with. As soon as these rifles come into the edge of these tree lines as well, though, they're just going to get pinned down by like the Mobilwagen and also the Sturm Grenadier at this range. Gonna absolutely hammer those guys and possibly surrender them straight away yet, because there's no command again. The command's just so delayed. I believe this command probably was supposed to be here to assist the rifles, but we have seen AmberT sort of forget about his command more than once. And it's a shame because it has cost him quite a few infantry squads. Same goes here. Sturm Grenadiers just need to jump forwards there briefly and get the surrender, but looks like Gonzo's going to let them get away with that. This rifle squad's going to surrender as well. Yeah, the rifle leader there just a little bit too late. So now we have the Befehl Panzer IV, or just actually that's just a normal Panzer IV-H. Going to be engaging some of these infantry down the bottom. We've got the mortar trying to dislodge this Wolverine, allowing the Panther A to then engage that. But with these Sturm Pioneers in position, or Sturm Grenadiers in position, it's going to be very hard for AmberT's infantry to make any ground without the support of a heavy tank. That's why I was suggesting things like AVREs and Churchill 7s. It'd be futile not to use them, really. Even if you are up against things like Panthers. But you've got to keep up that pressure, because you can't just sit back and allow Gonzo to afford more Panthers. You've got to take the initiative, bring in those heavier units, like rather than bringing in challengers, bring in AVREs. AVREs can kill Panzer IVs. And you can always have the 17-pounders sort of lined up behind the AVREs to protect them. I mean, it's not common that a AVRE would kill a Panzer IV, by the way. But here we did see the Panther A finally kill the last Wolverine. Focke-Wulf 190s engaging the Spitfires. It looks like this Focke-Wulf might actually end up being taken out. Oh, not quite. Not quite. We do see, what was that? A half-track being killed off by a Sherman 2. And that Focke-Wulf is going to get away. Spitfire's just not fast enough. Alright. Panzer Grenadiers going to be engaging rifles now. It looks like Gonzo's getting to the last of his Sturm Grenadiers. I think he's already at the last of his Sturm Grenadiers, but still not stopping him from using them to great effect, especially against things like these rifles. Going to be pinning them down and making them surrender. Uses the Sturm Grenadier to kill off the command carrier on the top side, and just smoking off his units. Just really good micro from Gonzo here, keeping those Sturm Grenadiers alive, providing a +2 for the rest of the game. He's up to 1,700 points now. Where did AmberT's lead go? I mean, he managed to get up to 900 points in like the first half of this game, and then it just completely collapsed. Like the 150 points per minute was just absolutely relentless under command of Gonzo. I think this is like the second time we've seen Gonzo be pushed to the brink. And then somehow he's managed to come back. Typhoon AT going to help pin down that Alpha Panzer IV-J. Challenger should be able to find the kill. Yes, indeed, he will. Challengers are making ground, but Sturm Grenadiers still holding the ground. And therefore, this Challenger's now surrounded. Panthers on the bottom side, easily controlling that open ground now in Phase C. In Phase B, Gonzo has to play around the 1,000 meter range engagement, which is why he pushed on the top side. In Phase C, you've got the 1,200 meter range engagement advantage with the Panthers, so that's why he's now pushing on this bottom side. And switching backwards and forwards between the two has definitely kept AmberT on his toes and has helped him secure the victory throughout this game. Again here, rifles are going to get surrendered. And so are the Assault Pioneers. Oh, the Panzerfaust's also going to take out the Sherman too. AmberT surrenders. Gonzo taking the game after 32 minutes and 56 seconds. Fantastic game. Wow. What an incredible one. So AmberT, I think, really threw his lead by not concentrating his honeys after Phase A. Like, that was his chance. If he'd overwhelmed that Panzer IV on the bottom side, he could have made so much ground with his reinforcing infantry and AT guns. And he could have got them into like really good positions that stopped Gonzo from reinforcing so hard in Phase B. Because you saw like his 17 pounder came in, but it had to reload before it got up the hill. And that is kind of devastating due to the fact that it is a pretty terrible place to put a 17 pounder. And I think, honestly, when he brought it in initially, he was hoping he'd be able to get it on top of the hill, which would have been great, but it just wasn't quick enough and he didn't hold long enough because his honeys were too spread out. He greeded for like too much ground. And I know Gonzo kind of does that quite a lot, but he doesn't do it with important units. Like in that push, AmberT's important units were the honeys. And I feel like keeping those alive was the most important thing out of that push. Other units like maybe the command carriers or just like infantry would have been expendable, and therefore those should have been used to take the extra ground, not the honeys, and that's what let him down in this game. So early on, the honeys did go kind of crazy. They killed off Panzergrenz, they killed off the speed strip, they killed off plenty of half-tracks. We saw the 6 pounder take out 2 half-tracks in the Panzer IV. We saw the rifle leader take out another 3 half-tracks. I don't know how that happened. 3 Piat kills with 3 Piats. I mean, since when? AmberT had like the perfect start. And he just let it fall away from him. This 6 pounder did take out Ramsch, which was quite nice. Paid itself off. Honey, again, killing off more half-tracks was great. We did see the Spitfires shoot down the Ju-88S as well. Things just weren't going well for Gonzo. But the fact he managed to bring it back was just insane. Churchill 5 took out all of the flaks, Flak 36, Flak 38s. The Wolverines sort of covering the open ground on the bottom side was a nice choice from AmberT actually, just to stop Gonzo from pushing. But he shouldn't have been in that position anyway. If we go over to these losses, this was the Panzer IV that changed it all. The initial Panzer IV got killed by that one shot from the 6 pounder. This one was allowed to stay alive. It killed off one honey, and then it killed off another one in that close range engagement where Gonzo was actually pretty lucky that the honey didn't penetrate with 2 shots at that range. But then again, he was unlucky that he didn't penetrate the honey twice at that range. So, I mean, it works both ways. Either way, Gonzo came out on top, and he took full advantage of it. He really did. And I think that's what makes Gonzo such a good player. He realizes when he's won something, he realizes when he's like got a good opportunity and he wins it, and then takes full advantage of it. It's like on the other game where he killed the M4 Abrams and he just did not let go of that match. He kept going, and it's the same deal here. This Panzer IV-H brought back things on the bottom side. Then as he moved into Phase B, he realized he couldn't push any more on the bottom side due to the 1,000 meter range engagement, pushed on the top side instead, made loads of ground there, stabilized the game, won the game, and that was job done. Sturm Grenadiers in this game went absolutely crazy. There wasn't any like fire support left from those honeys to stop them from just running through the rifles and AT guns. So that happened, and you see the amount of AT guns that were killed by Sturmgrenadiers is pretty ridiculous. Pack 40 took out 6-pounder on the top side. Ramps did take out 3 honeys on his own because they were all spread out, and he engaged them all one by one. That's exactly like not what you want to do with those honeys. Again, Sturmgrenadier killing off loads of units. Befehl Panzer IV came in, took out the Challenger and Churchill 5 at close range. Panzer IV-H's are just really, really good at that range. Sturmgrenadier, again, Aufklärer Panzer IV-J, not as good, but still took out a few infantry. Panther A taking out those 2 Wolverines, secure the bottom side. But yeah, it should never have got to the point where a Panther could have been afforded by Gonzo. Like, that's saving 3 minutes worth of income in Phase C. It's a shame. AmberT, I think, let it step away from him. The kill death was close, but Gonzo coming back hard in Phase B and C. 2,425 kills to 2,720 losses for AmberT, and vice versa for Gonzo. Crazy, crazy game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you'll join me in the next couple videos or few videos where we'll see Gonzo take on Eugen. AmberT takes 3rd place in the tournament, but congratulations to Gonzo to move on to that final. So looking forward to that. Hopefully you guys are too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.